Hey, welcome. I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter, and this is another live session. What are we talking about? Well, what we're talking about is how do we fill our pipeline in 30 days? That's the title of this session. And let me share with you something. One of the things I'm doing here is I'm lifting some of the content from our online program. If you haven't checked out our online program, really do hope you check it out. But more importantly, a lot of people ask me, Mark, I've got an empty pipeline. How do I fill it? How do I fill it quickly? That's what I'm going to walk you through here today. Hey, chime in wherever you are in the world. Let me know where you're watching this from, because it's always great the number of people we have from all over the world checking out. And hey, what I'm going to share with you, and hopefully in about 30, 35 minutes, is how you can fill your pipeline in 30 days or less. Now, let me set the context for this. I'm going to go ahead and set the context for this, because here's the whole thing. I've had people challenge me on this, and I've never lost a challenge. I have never lost a challenge where I've been able to work with somebody. And, of course, I remember I'm going to coach, but they got to do the work. And it's amazing. They're able to fill their pipeline in 30 days or less. Hey, we have got New York City in the house. Great to see you. Where else do we have? We've got New Zealand in the house. Love it, because it's early morning, or maybe it's still late at night. I'm not quite sure, but great to have you here. We got the Czech Republic in the house. We got Columbus, Ohio in the house. We got a ton of people checking in from all over the world. I'll try to get all those up here in a second, but let's talk about this. Hey, here's the whole thing. Filling your pipeline in 30 days or less. What does it start with? It starts with your mindset. Now, I'm going to walk you through every single element of how you make it happen, but it starts all right here with your mindset. Okay, so I got to get some more people up here. Let's see. We've got Panama City, Panama. Great to have you there. We've got upstate New York in the house. We've got Allentown, PA in the house. We've got San Diego in the house. We have got Mexico in the house. We've got let's see, we've got Texas in the house. We've got Washington, D.C. in the house. See, I grew up in Seattle, so we call it D.C., okay? Just saying. Anyway, but yeah, we got tremendous. And let's see, we got some questions coming in. Mark, love to know how many calls a day, how many emails, how many social posts. I'm going to get into that. Great to have you, Steve, because I know you've chimed in on some others. We got Boston in the house. Great audience. Let's keep rolling through. I'll kind of get back. Well, wait a minute. We got South Africa in the house. Hello, Johannesburg. Great to have you here. Who else we got? We got Colombia in that. Oh, I tell you what, I love Colombia. Excellent. I love the country. We got another person there from South Africa. We've got Denver in the house. We've got people all over the place. So anyway, let's cut back to the chase here. And let me share with you. Hold it. Let me just a moment here. And it starts with your mindset. See, here's the whole thing. If you don't believe you can fill your pipeline in 30 days, you won't fill it. But I'll tell you what, this is what I find. You go into it knowing that you're going to get your pipeline filled in 30 days, and you will fill your pipeline. Now, I don't have time during this session to go through every little nuance, every little piece, but I'm going to give you the broad perspectives, and then we'll figure out a way to get you all the individual pieces. In fact, I'm actually thinking about, if I get enough feedback, I'm going to create a master class around this and put this out on my online program. But anyway, okay, here's the whole situation. What we're talking about mindset. You see, it starts with your mindset. If your mindset is not in the right place, it's amazing what happened. Okay, so now let's get beyond mindset, okay? Let's get into it. It starts with having clear outcomes. What are the outcomes? Now, the clear outcomes are not your outcomes. The clear outcomes are what your customer achieves. What do they achieve? You have to be very clear, because everything you do is going to be built around those outcomes. Don't think about your product. Don't think about your service. Think about the outcomes. And the easiest way to do this is you take a piece of paper and you write down your current customers, and then you write down what are the outcomes, not what you sold them, the outcomes. Well, I'll come to what you sell in a bit here. Here's why. Because the outcomes are what you're going to frame everything you do around it. Because here's the next piece. In order to fill your pipeline, you got to know who are you going after. And I want to have ideal customer profile. What's my ideal? What does my perfect customer look like? This is absolutely key. because one of the things that I want to do is I don't have time. If I'm going to do this in 30 days, I don't have time to be all over the place. I got to be very, very specific. I got to be very, very tight, which means I can only focus my effort against my perfect people. This is why I talk about mindset, because mindset says that I can't allow myself to get distracted. I have to stay very, very focused. Okay. Now, here's the piece. I need a clear POE. Clear POE. What's POE? POE, point of entry. What you want to have is what is the easiest way for your prospect to do business with you. You may want to sell them X, Y, and Z. And that's great. I want you to be able to sell them X, Y, and Z. But what you need to do is say, wait a minute, if I'm going to fill my pipeline in 30 days, I got to start turning these into some customers. So I want to make it extremely simple, because here's the other piece. You won't get prospects to engage with you unless they can understand how you're going to help them in a very simplistic manner. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. Well, keep it simple, salesperson. Right. It's all about keeping it extremely simple, because when I keep it simple, it's amazing how much easier I am to be able to do. Hey, first time home buyer and refinance. Steve, hey, Steve, oh, this is who your target audience is. I love it. I love it. See, again, this is spot on. So you know who it is. So this is who your ideal customer profile is. And I'm going to share with you, Steve, I'm going to share with you some techniques and some strategies to work on that. Hey, feel free to keep chiming in comments, and I'll keep trying to pop them up as I go here. But here's the whole situation. Let's go back to Steve. First time homeowner and refinance. So your point of entry, to keep it very simple, might be the 30-year conventional loan. Maybe it's 15 year, maybe it's 10 year, maybe it's 20 year. It's whatever. And it may be refinance for the entry home buyer. In other words, I'm getting very, very specific, because I want to have all of my messaging, all of my content to be absolutely geared around that. Because again, I have to make sure my message is simple enough. We have got Nigeria in the house. Great to hear from. Let's see. We haven't had Asia. We haven't had Asia chime in yet. So somebody from Asia, chime in, would you please? I know it's late in Asia, but we got to hear from you. And you know what? Now I think about it, Europe. We haven't had Europe chime in. I'm sorry. Chicago, commercial insurance broker. Oh, Chuck. Wow. Today alone, I've been coaching 2 different insurance agents, one in the New England area and one in the Pacific Northwest. And great challenges there, because again, you can service so many things. I want you to get very, very specific about who it is. Okay, so what I'm doing is my point of entry, insurance. It may be one specific line. It might be just casualty insurance. It might be limited property coverage. It might be, and again, your clear outcome and your ideal customer profile, it might be that you're only dealing with small business owners who have strip center locations. Boom. You see what I'm doing here? I'm getting very, very tight. We got Bangladesh in the house. We have got Austin, Texas in the house. We've got Norway in the house. Thank you. We got Europe on the board. Europe was kind of slow responding. So great to hear from you. Here's what it's about. It's about keeping it very, very simple. Now, what do I start doing with this? Well, here's the whole piece. What I'm doing is I'm then going to create a grid sheet. Now, this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to take an Excel spreadsheet, and I want you to take your best customers, and I want you to put them down in column A. Just column A, your best customers. In column B, then, what I want you to do is I want you to write down the outcomes. Remember that piece I said at the beginning? What are the outcomes you create? And I want you to just put all of the outcomes down there, okay? And then what you're going to do across row 1 or 2, you're going to put all the different products and services that you offer and get very, very granular. Get very granular. We got Krakow, Poland in the house. Great to catch up with you. Steve chimes back in. Let me drill down even further, more specific. CPAs and real estate. I love this, Steve. Man, I'm preaching to the choir here. This is absolutely perfect. And again, I'm going to get to this piece, because what you talk about is, it's not like you're going for the customers. You're going for the people who will get you the customers. Love it, Steve. Thank you. Spot on there. See, what I'm going to do is with this grid sheet, I've got my customers, I've got the outcomes they create, and then I got products and services across the top. Then what I do is I begin filling in the boxes for the products and the services that each of those various customers buy. And now what you're going to begin to see is, this is interesting. These people with these outcomes, I tend to sell them this product. These people with these outcomes, I begin. See, so now I can begin to cluster people by outcome. And what I can begin to see is, what is the most logical product that these people kind of buy first? What's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? You see, what I want to do with each customer I get is I want to have land and expand. We got another person from South Africa. We got a lot of people from South Africa watching today. This is absolutely terrific. Hey, thank you, Pierre. Parts department sales. Yeah, you've got thousands of different parts. But you know what you find is that probably 10% of your parts make up about 80% of your sales. So I might list that across the top. See, I'm not going to list every single part, but I'm going to list my main parts. You see, what I want to be able to do is I want to begin to find what are the other pieces that I can begin, because part of the thing of filling your pipeline is by going back to existing customers and saying, what else is logical? What is the next logical thing that you should be buying from me? Because there's 3 ways that we can get additional sales. 3 ways. 1, we get them from totally new customers that we didn't know who they existed. 2, we get customers by way of referrals. And 3, we get customers from, repeat business. Yeah, existing customers. Those are really the 3 ways we get customers. But what I want to find is I want to find where are all those other opportunities. Okay, so what I do here is I'm now going to be targeting my existing customers and my old customers. When I'm filling my pipeline, don't give up on your existing customers or old customers. Don't give up on them. See, here's what I find so many times. People call me up and say, Mark, my pipeline's empty. And I say, well, when was the last time you talked to your customers? Oh, well, customer service takes care of that. I go, hold it. You're allowing customer service to do your job? Don't. You got to pick up the phone. You got to call those existing customers. There are old customers who have left you, but you still have a relationship with them. Reach back out to them. And those are the perfect customers, existing customers and old customers, that you take that grid sheet to. Say, wow, this is what I got to go. Yeah. Now, I haven't forgotten about this POE, point of entry. Okay, I'm going to come back. I'm going to loop that back in here in just a second. Because here's the third piece. I want you to be looking at rejected customers. Yes, I want you to be looking at reject. These are the customers who said no to you. They said no to you, and don't want to. Oh, no, but you do want to connect with them. Here's why. You've already spent the time to connect with them. You've already spent the time to develop a relationship with you. They may have said no, but that no may have been 2 months ago, 2 years ago. You don't know what's changed. You want to get back in touch with them. Don't throw away. Don't throw out. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You stay in the game with them, because these people are here with you. And I can begin to create opportunities. So I love going back to rejected customers. Now, there are these other customers who are their old customers because, you delivered a bad service. You didn't deliver the product right. I can't call those people. Here's the thing. You don't know what's changed. And you know what's funny? They've probably forgotten all about it. They have, and oh, by the way, if they haven't forgotten all about it, you want to get back in touch with them because you don't want them telling other people how bad you are. So guess what? If they haven't forgotten about it and they do remember it, they're probably telling other people. And guess what? That's hurting your business. I got to get back in touch with them. You see, so I don't allow anybody to slip. Paul writes in software development sales, getting new clients. Very worried about that. Paul, spot on. I'm coming to that. Here we go, baby. All right. You ready? We're going to be digging into that right now. Your timing is absolutely perfect. You see what it comes down to is I want to now be going after ICP leads. Okay. What I want to do is I always say when I'm building my pipeline, I always start with my existing customers. That's the tightest circle. Then I build out a little bit, my old customers, my rejected customers, and then my ICP leads. I never go beyond ICP. Never. Don't. Never, never, ever, ever, ever go beyond ICP. What I want to be doing is I want to be reaching out. I want to be touching them. Now, how do you go about finding them? Let's hit right here. Here's about 5 sections that you can jump into right now. Okay, trade associations, peer groups, subject matter experts, networking, social media. Okay, now let me walk through let me walk through these. Okay, and then I'm going to drill down in terms of what's the methodology, what's the frequency, etc., to help you fill your pipeline. Nicholas P. jumps in here and he says, property investors, not home buyers, been swamped with the latter, so need strong prospects for the initial. Spot on. Because again, you can fill your bucket, but fill your bucket with people that don't make you enough money, don't really excite you. Spot on with that. And again, that's knowing your ICP. So what I'm doing here is trade associations. I want to take my ICP, my ideal customer profile, and say, okay, what are the trade associations that these people are probably going to be connected to? You say, Mark, I sell B2C, business to consumer. It's not like they're in trade association. Okay, they may not be in trade association, but they're in geographic areas. What are the tight geographic areas? What are their circles of influence? Where are their areas of time being spent? What I do is I zero in, and I'm going to stick with B2B right now on trade associations, because what I want to do is I want to get connected with trade associations. And here's 2 quick approaches I love doing. I love picking up the phone and calling people who are on the board of the trade association, because these tend to be members who are probably some of the prominent people in the industry. Oh, you're ICP. Now, my conversation can't be, hi, would you buy from me? No, my conversation is this. Hey, you're a member of the trade association. I love it. What are the key issues that you're hearing from members? What are the key things? And you develop a dialogue with them. What I want to do is I want to start with the board of directors, and then I keep building my way out. And what's very interesting is many times I can go out to LinkedIn. I can pull up a LinkedIn person's profile for somebody that's on the board. And guess what? There are other people who are in that same company. There are other people, not in that same company, but in that same industry. You see, so I start with trade association, peer group. What do I mean by peer group? These are your close-in people. Let's see, Steve, you made the comment that you want to reach out to CPAs and so forth. Well, you've probably got a peer group of CPAs. So what I do is I reach out and I nurture my peer group of CPAs, accountants. In my space, I have fellow people who are fellow speakers and fellow authors and so forth, and I reach out to them. And my whole objective is, how do I help them? And guess what? They help me. And what I found along the way is I become more knowledgeable. They become more knowledgeable. Rising tide lifts all boats. And here's something that's absolutely fascinating. When I'm in the groove in my space, my sweet spot, it's amazing how it, again, continues to grow my mindset. And what happens is I begin to see more and more opportunities. Because one of the things that happens is this. The mindset you have going into a call, going into an email, going into whatever it is going to determine the outcome. And I find this. The more knowledgeable I am about the space I'm selling into, the more knowledgeable I am about my ICP, the more opportunities I'll see. Because I'll see more ways that I can help them. So I zero in on peer group. Subject matter experts. Again, this builds in. Who are the subject matter experts in this ICP? Who are those? Are they with existing companies? I need to reach out to them. I need to call them. And I literally pick up the phone and I call them and say, hey, I'm in this space and help me become a little more knowledgeable. You may see them on LinkedIn. You want to follow them. You may find them on Facebook. You may find them writing articles, but you connect with subject matter experts. Now, here's where subject matter experts come into play. This happened to me just today. There was a subject matter expert that I really like. And I'd begun following this person on LinkedIn. And I had on my radar screen that I want to reach out to that person. Guess what? They reached out to me. And it's going to create another opportunity. What comes after subject matter experts? And see, I'm doing these in terms of the circle of the potential you get. Because I believe that trade association can get you really quality leads the fastest, peer groups second, subject matter experts. Now next is network. These are the people, these are the 100 people that you know. So Steve, go back to you. You have, financial planners and so forth. And, you've got a tight group of people that you deal with, but then there's a broader group of people. So these are people that you may want to say, you know what? I want to pop them an email. I want to be able to hang out where they're hanging out. I got to be seen with this group. The last circle is social media. And what social media? That's LinkedIn, that's YouTube, that's Facebook, that's Pinterest, that's Instagram, it's TikTok. I don't care where it is. Now, here's the whole deal. I put this circle last because it can be a giant vortex that sucks you in. And before you know it, you spent a lot of time. And let me tell you something, you can't take clicks or likes to the bank. I tell people, when you are trying to fill your pipeline in 30 days or less, you can't afford to spend any more time on social media than you absolutely have to. What does this mean? I'm on social media only to create awareness about myself, only to learn content and to create connections. I'm not doing pitch or click and pitch. I'm not doing that. No, that's called bait. Click and pitch is bait and switch. Okay, don't go there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend just enough time on social media to make sure that my reputation is solid, my reputation strong. There might be people, subject matter experts that I want to begin following. There might be peers that I need to begin following or connect to, first level connections, whatever it might be. I'm talking about LinkedIn here for the most part. There may be some YouTube videos that I want to make sure I watch, but I'm using my time very efficiently. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm also creating relationships with other people. Now, here's the goal. I'm going to take an online connection and turn that into what I call an offline conversation. In other words, the telephone. There have been many, many people that I connect with. And I did this just the other day. There was a gentleman and myself. We had been kind of exchanging comments on each other's posts for a couple of weeks. I popped him a message that, hey, been great kind of getting to know you. Love to kind of find out a little bit about your business. Let's connect. Let's connect. Spot on. Hey, we got Nicholas is chiming in. Property investors. Now, excuse me. I already shared that one. Steve has jumped in. Great. Automation and controls in PA. I just asked my company to join the manufacturers businesses. Bingo. Nice job. Yeah, because that's where your ICP is hanging out with. And even before you join, I bet you could probably go out to the website and find board of directors, find other people, or I bet that trade association has got a LinkedIn group that you might be able to follow, might be able to join. See, there's plenty of ways here. You see what I'm doing is I'm creating this circle. Now, what do I do with all this? Okay, let's get into this, okay? Staying focused, rinse and repeat, time blocking. Got some more comments that have popped up. Let me go ahead and pop them up there. I love your book. Hey, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've had a chance to write 3 books, A Mind for Sales, High Profit Prospecting, and High Profit Selling was the first book. So love to hear that. And how would you define a full pipeline? Hey, great question. My objective, my definition of a full pipeline is where I have enough in my pipeline to be able to make my sales number on a monthly or quarterly basis, whatever that might be. So if I've got to be closing 10 sales, a month, I may need to have 50 high quality prospects in my pipeline because it takes several months for them to go through and I only have a 50% close ratio. So again, I got back, but I want to have enough people in my pipeline. I want to have enough people in my pipeline that I can always be making my monthly or quarterly numbers. High profit prospecting. Yeah, you're right. That is a gem. Yeah, because there's a ton of scripts in there, email scripts, phone scripts, all that sort of stuff. Thank you. Love that comment. Very much appreciate it. So here's the whole thing. I got to stay absolutely focused. Now, what do I mean by focused? Squirrel. No. You have to stay laser focused. And this means you got to be time blocking. I can't stress this enough. The biggest reason people don't have a full pipeline is because they don't block enough time to prospect. So you may have to block aside 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours. I'm not sure what it is. You have to determine the level of time that you have to block, but you got to block it and you have to stay true to it. See, that's staying focused. Now, what is rinse and repeat? Rinse and repeat are the most valuable words in sales you'll ever find in your shower. It's on every bottle of shampoo. Every bottle of shampoo says rinse and repeat. What this means is rinse. Rinse is not about putting the same old shampoo back in your hair. No, it's putting fresh shampoo in your hair. You see, every message I deliver, every message, I have to make sure it brings new value. I have to make sure it brings something new. Because if I'm not bringing something new, you can't do it. Yeah, you can't do it. Now, Steve chimes in with another question. Great. How many people a day to call and how often do you call to follow up? Oh man, Steve, I am so glad you were at rehearsal this morning because guess what? That's the next slide. Phone, email, social media, and other. Okay. Here's my whole thing. I build my prospecting plan around 4 tools. Okay. And it's around the phone, email, social media. And then other. Now, other might be, for some of you, it might be text messaging. For some of you, it might be direct mail. I was coaching an insurance person this morning who created some oversized postcards. And she's putting that into her cadence. Absolutely. So she's using direct mail. Spot on with that. But I always lead with the telephone. Because here's the whole thing. My goal is there are 10,000 people out there who can do business with me. I can't handle 10,000 people. I just need X number a month, each or an X amount every month. So I'm going to take the time to use the phone because I can have in a 2-minute phone call more information being exchanged than I ever will in 5 or 10 or 15 emails over the course of a couple months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I start off with the telephone. Hey, Dennis says, I just started a new position as sales manager and picked up a copy of a Mind for Sales for each for my new team. Thank you, Dennis. Love it. Love it. Hey, make sure you reach out to me and tell me what parts you like. Tell me what's making a difference. And the same thing with your team. Love to hear that. Now, let's talk about the phone. I'm going to start off with the phone. And my cadence that I use is phone, email, phone, email, phone, email. Now, I'm going to use social media to build my reputation because nobody's going to take my phone call from me until they've had a chance to really check out my profile. And they've had a chance to check me out on the web, which means undoubtedly it's going to be LinkedIn. See, so I make sure I'm putting content out there, just kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm doing LinkedIn Live. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. Yeah, and people see that and they go, oh, okay, I want to talk with Mark. Now, you might say, Mark, I don't have the ability to do that. I get it. That's okay. But you can still be posting pertinent industry information or reposting pertinent industry articles, anything of that. But social media is also because you may have somebody that you've been trying to reach out to 4 or 5 times. They're a good prospect. You're not getting anywhere with them. So I'm going to begin following them on LinkedIn. Now, they may not be active. If they're not active, okay, the idea doesn't work. If they're active, I begin following them and I begin commenting on some of their comments. I'm going to be just chiming in on it. And what happens? They begin to think of you. So guess what? You then call, you send an email, and suddenly it registers. Hey, Nicole, I've been thinking about the oversized postcards and would love to implement. I tell you what, oversized postcards are spot on. They're going to cost you more to mail. They're going to cost you more to print. But I'll tell you what, if it speeds up the prospect engaging with you, spot on. Now, for some of you, it's going to work, and some of you, it won't work because work from home and all that sort of stuff. Again, these ideas I share with you, you have to put it in the context of the marketplace that you're in. Now, my whole piece is this. When I phone and email and social media and other, what is the other for me? The other for me is I really don't have one. Occasionally, I'll use text messaging. Occasionally, I'll do a video. But by and large, I don't do it. I stop right there. But see, some people, for instance, Nicole, you might say it's good. Yeah, I'm going to use phone, email, social media. Now I'm going to use direct mail. Great, spot on. But here's the whole thing. I have a cadence and I make sure that I stick with it. Hey, we have got Saudi Arabia in the house. Great to have you, Mohammed. Absolutely fantastic. It's great. Oil and gas industry, always fascinating. I do a lot of work in the energy sector. And man, it is a kick in the pants because every day is different. But anyway, back to this whole piece. I'm going to make sure that I'm always sending out different messages. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to that point of entry, that point of entry piece. Remember when I said KISS? What's the simplest product you're going to begin with, or service, whatever it might be? And what you want to do is you want to write up 5 questions and 5 statements that are going to engage the prospect and get them thinking, with which you can then lead in to be able to talk about your product and service. For instance, what I'm going to do is you might be in the transportation industry. So it might be that there are supply chain issues. It might be that there are issues in terms of drivers, might be issues in terms of that. So I'm going to come up with 5 questions and 5 statements. Now, with 5 questions and 5 statements, I got the ability to send 10 different messages to you. Now, I don't have time to go into all this in terms of the actual specifics, but it's going to be an absolute cadence I'm going to use. Hey, good evening from South Africa. Great to have you. In fact, Anne Marie, I believe you've been on some other calls. So, hey, great to have you back. Welcome. Here's the whole situation. I'm going to put them into a cadence. Now, the cadence I'm going to do is going to be based on the frequency with which they purchase, the level of person I'm reaching out to, and the type of purchase it is. Let me break it down. Okay. The frequency. If they're purchasing what I'm selling on a daily basis, I can be reaching out to you every other day. Sure. Maybe I'm selling temporary labor. Well, HR people are really needing temporary labor almost on a daily basis. Or maybe it's transportation. I work with transportation companies that really sell space on trucks. Well, I'm going to call a manufacturer because they're needing space every day. Okay. There may be others that I sell to that they only buy once a month or once a quarter. So my frequency of contact is going to be a little more spread out. Okay. Now, the level of person, the lower I am in an organization, the more frequently I can reach out to them. Yes. The higher I am in an organization, the less frequently. And that's just a simple thing, because at the lower level, they're more tactically engaged. At the more higher level, they're more strategically. So if I'm reaching out to a business owner, okay, I was dealing with an insurance broker this morning who deals with business owners only. And her level of cadence is every other week. Every other week, she reaches out to these respective business owners. I deal with other people who sell frequently, and they literally reach out to their prospects every other day. But see, with these 5 questions and 5 statements, I'm able to bing, 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 bing. I'm able to keep that up. Now, here's the key thing about questions. Key thing about questions, because you want to engage people fast. Your whole objective is not to inform them to a point that they can make a decision without talking to you. This is what's key. People, when they're getting into desperation to fill their pipeline, hi, I sell this, and when shall I have to buy from me? And call me tomorrow. That's desperation. That is desperation. What I want to do is I want to engage you in a conversation. This is why I love asking questions. Hey, how are you handling this? Would love to get your opinion on this. What is your company doing to respond to this? I love asking the word opinion, because it's a key word that people love jumping in with. And I'm going to put that into a voicemail. I'm going to put that into an email. It really doesn't matter. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to get you to see me not as a salesperson first, but as somebody who's going to help you first. This is key. Don't get into desperation mode when you're trying to fill your pipeline in 30 days. But see, here's what's very interesting is when I go through these steps I've been talking about, you go through the first 6, 7 steps really in less than a day. In less than a day, you can flesh out your ICP, your point of entry. You can get all of the traders. You can all that stuff. So literally, come day 2, you're banging away. And then it just depends on the frequency and so forth that you're going to be able to reach out to people. Because what you're going to do is you also got existing customers. You'll be reaching out to them. You got old customers. See, so you got these various circles that you're working with. So you are moving very, very fast. But I can guarantee it, you're going to have your pipeline filled in 30 days or less. Now, let's keep going on this. CFT 10 a.m. rule, RNG. This is absolutely key. CFT. I want you to be measuring your customer facing time. Anytime somebody calls me and they go, Mark, I don't have enough deals to close. My pipeline's empty. I always ask them, what's your CFT? And they go, what? CFT is customer facing time. How much time are you spending on the phone or actively engaged in email exchange, doing something with customers? And when I mean customers and prospects. This is absolutely key. Now, if some of you spend a lot of your time with existing customers, then what you got to do is you got to have two CFTs, CFT for existing customers and CFT for prospects. And I'm really zeroing in on this prospect. How much time am I spending prospecting? When people don't have a full pipeline, it's because they're not prospecting. I guarantee that. Well, I don't know who to call. I've been walking you through these steps. If you're struggling when we get done, I do want you to just to jump out there, and we've got courses out there in my online university, and download one of those. Get one of those, because again, it's designed to help you. Or email me, call me. My goal is to help you be incredibly successful, because I want you to increase your CFT. So how do I increase my CFT? The 10 a.m. rule. What's the 10 a.m. rule? I want you to set your phone for every morning to go off at 10 a.m. And at 10 a.m., I want you to ask yourself, what's something significant I have accomplished already today? Your objective by 10 a.m. every day is to have accomplished something significant. You've made X number of prospecting calls. You've had X number of conversations, or you've done something with this customer or that customer, but you do so. Here's what I find interesting. If I can be in a position where I have done something significant by 10 a.m., it's amazing how much more motivated I am. I am more motivated to keep going. It's amazing. Now, if, for instance, the day falls apart, which it can happen. We've had situations where the day falls apart. It's okay. At least I've had a successful day. See, the 10 a.m. rule is really geared around you and how you spend your time prospecting. RNG, revenue and goals. I want you to be asking yourself, again, this comes up all the time when I'm talking with people I'm coaching, all the time. Oh, I'm busy. Yeah, but what are you really doing? No, you're busy, but you're not productive. Productive is when your time is being spent against revenue generating activities, which is prospecting. Okay, that's customer facing, or it's helping you achieve one of your goals. And your objective is to get as much of your time geared against those two things as possible. So if you're having a hard time filling your pipeline, I want you to back up, watch the beginning of this video again, and begin to go through those individual steps I talked about in terms of trade associations, current customers, existing, rejected customers, etc. Building your ICP, creating all that, getting your 5 statements, getting your 5 questions put together. Now, you might say that's not revenue producing. Yeah, you're right. It's not revenue producing, but it's certainly putting you towards your goal. Your goal is to have a prospecting plan to allow you to fill your pipeline in 30 days. 30 days to fill your pipeline. Yeah. See, here's what it comes down to. It comes down to your mindset at the beginning, but here's where I really come in at. It's your peers and your coaches. Okay. You become the sum of the 5 people you associate with the most. You really do. You become the sum of the 5 people you associate with the most. If you are struggling from a prospecting standpoint, ask yourself, who are you hanging out with? Who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with other people who are struggling prospecting? You're hanging out with the wrong people. You've got to find peers who are successful. Because again, successful people create success because of the ideas they share. Absolutely key. Next one is coaches. Who's coaching you? Who is coaching? This is one of the reasons I do these live events all the time, because I'm coaching you. I've got a lot of people in my coaching programs. I got a lot of people in my online programs. But it's coaches, because again, you look at somebody like a Tom Brady. Tom Brady's won more Super Bowls than any other quarterback. And you look at the number of coaches he has, not just the coaches for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he has coaches for every element of his life. You know what? I go, it's worked for him. I guess it probably is going to work for me. Because here's the whole thing. Sales is a mental mindset game. And if I don't surround myself with right people and allow myself to be coached, I'm not going to be successful. Yeah. You see, what it comes down to is this. Filling your pipeline is something you will do in 30 days. You will do it in 30 days. Expect success if you do the work. See, too many people, what they do is they buy a program, and it's like buying a gym membership. Just because you buy a gym membership doesn't make you fit, doesn't put you in shape. No. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. Prospecting is a muscle, and it needs to be exercised daily. It needs to be exercised daily. And there's something magical. When you exercise it daily, it's amazing at how much more successful you're going to become. Yeah. Hey, we got some more comments that have popped in here. Good evening. I already got you. And I'm sorry, Anne Marie. I already got you. COVID area, work from home with family. You're right. It is. This creates challenges. But here's what I say. I can't control that. Well, I can control my family. But what I'm saying is I have to be focused on what I can control. I might be working at home. I might have family. I might have all of these issues. But I can't allow that to be an excuse. Top performing salespeople do not have excuses. You're going to fill your pipeline in 30 days or less, but not if you create an excuse. If you create an excuse, forget it. You won't fill it. What you'll do is you're going to create excuses. Hey, what I've been sharing with you, and wow, we've been running fast. We've been running furious, been sharing it, but I want you to jump out to the Sales Hunter University. There's all kinds of content out there. We got another comment that jumped. Oh, Steve, love it. Agreed. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, it is spot on. Here's the whole piece though. You can achieve success if you stay focused. If you stay focused. Connect with me here. Subscribe to my YouTube videos. Get out to the saleshunter.com. Plenty of content. But more importantly, you got to do the work. And if you do the work, it's amazing how much success you'll have. My goal is this, that you fill your pipeline in 30 days or less, and you never have a downtime again. Peaks and valleys in sales are so many times driven because what happens is we get a lot of business and we stop prospecting. I was on a call the other day that came up. It came up that they literally get so drunk with success that they stop prospecting, and then boom, it goes down, and then they got to prospect, and then they get back up. Create consistency. When you create consistency, it's amazing how much more successful you will be. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. I love sharing this with you. Absolutely terrific. Catch me next week. I'm going to do another live session. Okay. Hey, see you later.